So if you live outside of the United States and you're unaware, 2020 is a pretty major election year here in the country, and we're actually going to be electing presidents all the way down to local representatives this year, depending on where you live and what's going on. So it's a pretty big year. There's a lot of ad campaign spending and all kinds of different things going on right now. Every 4 years is just a huge year here in the United States because, we're about to change presidents potentially, unless Donald Trump wins again and becomes another president who has 2 terms. But it is a pretty big year. It's been a significant year outside of that, and a lot of different world events have started to help shape how this presidency is going to end up going. But we have one more presidential candidate besides, Joe Biden on the Democratic side, Donald Trump on the Republican side, and of course all the others who run the third parties that honestly don't even get a chance. And that's going to be Kanye West. It's going to be Yeezus himself. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Kanye West has formally announced that he will be running for president of the United States here in 2020, not 2024, 2028, nothing like that, this year. Now, I am a Kanye West superfan, self-admittedly. I mean, I've probably heard every Kanye West song that I can even think possibly exists. I've heard music that he made before he was big. I've heard music that's been leaked from albums that he never even finished. I'm gonna be honest, I idolize Kanye West. He is, in my opinion, one of the great artists of the 21st century who has helped change not only music but also pop culture. He's one of the most accomplished artists, even outside of music. But I thought all this time when he said that he'd be running for president that it was kind of a big meme, because honestly, you guys know how Kanye is, or at least, well, if you know anything about him, you know how Kanye is. So sometimes he just says stuff, Kanye West kind of is a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? And he'll just say things that are off the wall a lot of the time and just shock everybody and people are confused. That's kind of just what he does. So this whole time when I thought that Kanye said he was going to be running for president, that I don't know, maybe it was something that had to do with his music or something, or it was just another one of these statements that he makes that are just crazy and no one really understands. But no, apparently he was serious this whole time. So in November, Kanye is going to hopefully be trying to be president. So Kanye tweeted last night that we must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for president of the United States, #2020vision. The tweet went crazy. It has over 1 million likes, as you can see. It's obviously growing and gaining even more. It's insane. This is one of his biggest tweets, him announcing that he will be running for president. So if you've followed Kanye West in the news over the last 4 years or so, he's gotten a lot of slack because of his relationship with Republicans and Donald Trump. Kanye has been very outspoken about his usage of the MAGA hat, saying things such as the Make America Great Again hat makes him feel like a superhero, and he feels powerful with that hat on. And it's garnered a lot of controversy because Kanye has made a lot of, statements about different things in his past. But people were really quick to note that, back in the 2000s, Kanye is the man who famously said that George Bush didn't care about black people. And then in the 2010s, he was willing to wear a MAGA hat and support Donald Trump, saying he had dragon energy and whatnot. When we got that "Thank you, Kanye, very cool" tweet. But yeah, Kanye's going for the presidency. He hasn't really announced anything, revolving around it, I guess. Like most political candidates, when they announce their presidency, a lot of the time, on a website or something, they have a whole list of their stances on a bunch of different policies. As far as I've been able to tell, Kanye hasn't really come out with any of those. And Kanye hasn't come together with a full-fledged political stance sheet, I guess, for potential voters to read through or whatever. But honestly, I'm kind of interested to see what he has to say because, like I said, Kanye, he's been a very polarizing figure throughout his time. And he's had a lot of very vocalized opinions on a lot of different issues. I mean, that's the good thing about Kanye. He's very vocal about things that he has to say. He doesn't really give a shit what people think because, as long as it satisfies him and how he feels and he thinks that he's saying the right thing, I guess, he's willing to say it. Now, Kanye put out a peculiar tweet, to say the least, earlier. It says, Yeezy shelters in process, #2020vision, equipped with this picture. And I can't tell what this is. I can't tell what we're looking at here or what this is supposed to be, honestly. It's pretty interesting looking. I mean, just the shape of it and, where it is, because it's obviously pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I'm pretty sure this is in Jackson Hole, where he has, hundreds of acres of property. So it's been quite the move, I guess. A lot of people are talking about it. There's a lot of coverage of it because, like, I guess, like how I thought, a lot of people thought that he was just kind of kidding around about actually running for president, that it wasn't actually going to come through. But no, this is real, and he's building Yeezy shelters and whatnot. Kanye has already had himself, like, just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's been quite a year. I mean, he basically just saved the Gap, essentially. He announced that he was doing a 10-year partnership with Gap to bring Yeezy clothes and whatnot there. The stock rebounded significantly, and there's a lot of hype being generated around that. He announced a Kids See Ghosts cartoon with Kid Cudi that revolves, I guess, around the themes of that album. And then now we see this, so, I mean, just because he said it, I guess, doesn't necessarily mean that he's really gonna go through with it, because at the end of the day, a presidential campaign run costs a lot of money, and especially to be the president of the United States. We're not talking about, city council, we're not talking about a mayorship. It takes a lot of money to go through with something like this, and I mean, yes, Kanye West is a billionaire, but even then, in order to, I guess, catch up in this race, I think he'd have to spend a lot of money in comparison to other campaigns, because he only has a few months left. He's trying to, garner 330 million people's opinions on his presidency. He would have to spend a stupid amount of money. I mean, at this point, he'd probably reduce his net worth by, like, quite a fraction if he actually went through and actually tried to pull this campaign off, just to see himself basically stacked up against a president who's been running for president since 2015, already has had 4 years in office to back himself up with, and the support of basically the entire Republican Party. And then on the other side, you got Joe Biden, who basically has the support of the mainstream Democrats. So it would be weird to see where Kanye would even fall in the whole political sphere, because, I mean, let's be honest, here in the United States, only two parties really have a chance. I mean, you got the Green Party, and you got, what are they? You got, like, the Libertarians and whatnot, but they don't really ever get a fair shake at the presidency. At most, they get, like, 2% of the vote. The Democrats and the Republicans, or just running independent, those are essentially your only chances to win an office this big. And the two major political parties have already backed their own candidates. I'm pretty sure, not going to be able to convince a bunch of Republicans that he's a better choice than Donald Trump, who's already had 4 years in office and already has a lot of support, that he's a good candidate to take the Republican nomination or seat. I'm pretty sure Trump already has Republican nomination anyway, and I'm almost certain that the Democrats, who most of the time oppose billionaires and probably just don't think Kanye is a good enough candidate to fit along, I don't think he's going to be able to push them into getting him into the candidacy either. So at this point, I would believe that Kanye West is probably going to try and run as an independent, and that is if he actually fully goes through with this and tries. Now, of course, Kanye West is one of the biggest names on the planet. He's been one of Time's 100 most influential persons like 2 or 3 different times. He's got the support of people like Elon Musk already, so, I mean, take that as you will. Who knows, we might even get Elon as the vice president nomination or something crazy. But another big problem that Kanye would be facing is that some of the states have already passed their deadline in order to get independent candidates onto the ballot. Now, there's a handful of states in the country that have already passed this. There's a deadline, most states have them, to where you can basically make the ballot as an independent, and a lot of states are already passing that, and the deadline is approaching for a lot more of the states. So at this point, if Kanye did run as an independent, he would probably only be on the ballot in like 41 of 50 states, which would be pretty bad, because unless, the majority of the people in the other states had already just written Kanye in, basically, he would only have a chance to win about 4 out of all 5 states, and then he also still has to compete with 2 established politicians with support from billion-dollar parties. At this point, I am actually pretty convinced that Kanye West could probably get 5% of the popular vote in the country. You have to think about it this way. There's about 330 million people in the United States, and let's say that just half of the people in the country vote out of the qualified, voters or whatever, because the U.S. turnout for voting is actually pretty piss poor. So let's say, 180 million people, just to be conservative and, kind of, I guess, be a little more realistic. Let's say 180 million people in the country vote, which is a little over half, I guess, but 180 million people vote. I think that there is a chance that Kanye could get 9 million votes, because that would be 5% of 180 million. And if he were part of a smaller political party like the Green Party, he was running as their candidate, which most of them already have selected their candidates as well, he would actually be able to get those political parties eligible to receive federal funding for the next election process. Now, in all reality, is Kanye West going to be the next president of the United States? As much of a fan as I am of this man, I really don't think that that's going to be the case. He entered the race too late. He doesn't have any established policies or anything like that that people can just readily access. He's participated in zero of the debates, and he's not even going to be able to probably run on one of the big tickets for either party. So I'm not necessarily surprised that Kanye is running for president, though. I mean, the United States has already essentially been choosing the presidency as a popularity contest for a long time anyway. Tens of millions of Americans literally only vote for president based on who they see more advertisements on TV from or hear more about on the radio. And then on top of that, probably over 100 million Americans they just vote based on the party line, you know? If they're a registered Democrat or whatever, they just vote for the Democrat. If they're a registered Republican, they vote for Republican. That's how voting in the United States is. It's not necessarily like a candidate issue for most people. It's just, oh yeah, this guy says he's a Democrat, so I'm voting for him. That person could like believe in kicking puppies and be a Republican or something, and people would vote for him because of that. But Kanye's not really going to have that benefit to his name either, because like I said, he's probably not going to make it onto a big party ticket or anything like that. So I think the odds are definitely very slim, although I am extremely interested to see what these Yeezy shelters are going to end up being. And what the plan is with that. I think it's a cool looking concept, honestly, and I mean, I'm interested in it, but I don't know if this is enough to win presidency. So, I mean, he might have a chance in like 2024, as much as people like to try and write it off and pretend it couldn't happen. You have to think that like so many people also believed Donald Trump was never going to become the president of the United States. It wouldn't be like this is the first time that an entertainer has ever actually held office, so. Anyway, with that being said though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members, your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video guys, this is Optimus, not sure if I'm voting for Kanye West, and signing out.